Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, so Aquaman 2. It's starring the always absolutely amazing, love everything that he does, Jason Momoa, as well as Patrick Wilson, who you probably remember as the Owl from Watchmen, or at least that's where I remember him most from, but he also does various, I think, the Conjuring franchise? Yeah, I don't know. He's in some horror franchise that has gone on way longer than you would expect. Um, Anywho, so this movie has those two in it. It does not have Willem Dafoe. According to the trivia, he had scheduling conflicts, but based on the explanation they gave in the movie, I feel like maybe it was more than scheduling conflicts, but whatever. And it still has, I think it's Dolph Lundgren, anyhow, from the first one, and then it has a bit of Nicole Kidman, probably about the same total screen time, but maybe a little bit more, but yeah. And fucking Amber Heard. So she has an amazing rack, just an amazing rack in this movie, just top notch. Yeah, but she's still in this movie, and I don't think she should have been because of all of the things that happened outside of the movie, and she's still way overpowered in my opinion. Like, she's the only one that can waterbend, as far as I can tell, in this universe. And she's done it since the first time that she appeared in, I think it was Justice League or whatever. But thing is, so she's overpowered, but with how little screen time she has, and with how much it was never, almost never, like a close-up of her face, it was like ensemble, and, oh, this other character interacting with her. Like, with how little of just her there was, I really feel like they could have gotten a different actress. Because, think about Underworld, and Underworld, had Kate Beckinsale, and then they did Rise of the Lycans, which had to not be her because of how the storyline was, and she looked almost exactly like fucking Kate Beckinsale. So they could have found someone, maybe with an amazing rack as well, who had a redhead on and was pale enough to match enough, and then just, I don't even think that any of the flashbacks that were shown even showed her character. So it's not like they were like, oh, well, she's in the flashback, so they really could have used a different actress, and I think they should have. But anywho, this movie, overall, it was okay. I think the first one was better, but with this one, it was okay, just because the general storyline, I think that there was too many conflicts between the level of power that we see, especially the people have underwater, versus what they showed out of the water, and then also just the, spoilers for the first one, if you haven't seen it, go see it, it's decent enough, go see it, but, so in the first one, there was just, these massive amounts of fucking army, and all these amazing ships and creatures, and this, that, and the other thing, and that wasn't able to do anything versus this single ship that had a sonic weapon that, just disrupted their nervous systems or whatever. Thing is, even in this movie, you see, and also in that movie, you see they have missiles. Missiles don't have a nervous system. So you could have just missiled the fuck out of this thing, and it still would have, just taken care of that problem. So yeah, it was kind of dumb. And then, they showed in the first one the nobody's ever breached the wall of Atlantis because look at all these amazing fucking things. And then, I think it's a problem with some superhero movies in general, and just some genres of things where the super big baddie amazing guy or thing or whatever in the first movie is just totally nerfed in the second one. It's just oh, I can defeat you easily now. It's like Bleach, the TV show Bleach, where oh, a totally unstoppable force, and then you level up a little bit, and then you're just pow. So it seems like there was a lot of that going on in terms of the technology in the first one, and the capabilities, and whatever else, just nerfed in this. And that was a little disappointing to see. And there was also just some things where, so kind of the general storyline, I'm not even going to get into it. Just understand that if you're super climate change isn't real or whatever, then you may be annoyed at this. because of just, their insistence on things. But in my opinion, this isn't like our Earth. This is the Earth that has the Themyscira Island and the Amazonians and Dark Star or whatever the fucking Dark Side and all of that jazz going on, and 6 kingdoms worth of Atlanteans doing their thing. So they need to do that for the storyline, and I get it, and it's fine. So I don't feel like this movie is necessarily pushing the like climate change agenda or global warming agenda so much as it's using that explanation or that theory to help drive their plot. And I think it works without being preachy or like, this is the thing. See, you gotta watch out for this. Everyone, do better. It's not doing that, which I think is a good thing. But there are, like I said, there's some inconsistencies with the first one, and then there's just like, I know that they're trying to make it visually interesting, but there's some things that just don't make sense. Like, bad guy suddenly has army of weirdly suited people. No explanation for the suits ever given. There's the guy from, I remember him most from Ant-Man, the like semi-incompetent / funny agent that was keeping track of Ant-Man when he was on a house arrest. That guy. So he's in this one, and he's funny a little bit, but just his character is entirely superfluous. You could take out his character and shave off a good 15 minutes runtime, and you wouldn't change anything about the movie other than it probably being better, because he doesn't really add anything other than, like, I don't know, a horrified perspective on things, and it's just unnecessary. So that's kind of what I felt about some of the things in this movie, is that they were just unnecessary, and it just didn't work for me. What I will say is that I love every second of Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson, so his brother Orn from the first one that, he defeated. Still, spoiler alerts for that one, hopefully you've seen it. But, he defeated him, and then, for the reasons that they brought him back, I really liked it. I liked their brotherly interactions. That was my favorite part. I would rewatch this movie probably just for that. Also, Jason Momoa with his character's dad, I really liked their interactions too. Like, I thought that was wholesome and nice and uplifting and cool. Like, I liked that whole dynamic that he and his dad have going on, and then also that he and his brother have going on in this movie. Like, that is fantastic, and that is what I go to see with this movie. The CGI was fine. If you thought the CGI was good in the first one, it's good in this one. Like I said, the level of technology is a little wacky in terms of nerfing and changing and whatnot. And that's another thing. It's like they change enough of that they could have just changed out Amber Heard. You changed these other things, you could have changed that. But whatever. So overall, very meh movie. I think it's pretty forgettable. It's not terrible, but it's just that there's enough things that bug me that if I had to up or down, I'd probably give it a thumbs down, but just barely. So I think enough people will still enjoy it. Like I said, the brotherly interaction is really where I'm at. CGI was not bad, and the music worked for the most part. Like, they had good songs, but a couple of times it felt like they cut the song off a little early. Like, I would have liked to jam and let that breathe a little bit more before cutting it and going to the next thing. So I think that would have been nice. But I appreciated that they chose a class. I'm going to call it classic, but movie classic, where it's like, oh, I know the feels that you're giving me with that song. They chose well with that. So, yeah, I don't know, up and down for this movie, but that's, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.